my first memories would be of coming to the cinema with, I think it would have been my sisters, or friends even, and it was a big cinema for, you know, what is in fact quite a, well, was then, seemed a quite small area. And I can remember the smoke. We all smoked, and, you know, the place was filled with smoke, and that would have been general, I think, for any cinema at that time. So I can remember that. But it was later on that I found my real memories begin, because of the way it is now. I mean, it's very comfortable, and you've got all this space. You know, they obviously renovated the cinema, and I'm not sure exactly when they did that. And we would come, and by that time, I think they had half the cinema you could smoke, maybe this side, and that side you couldn't, which is very amusing, really, because, I mean, you know, what difference would it make? But the other thing that always amused me was about, it's the only cinema I know that would have an intermission in the middle of the film, and they still do to this day, I'm sure. And there was a little old lady who used to come trotting out in the intermission with her tray, you know, the typical cinema type usherette tray, and she would obviously, you know, buy ice creams and lolly ices and so on. And she always reminded me, well, later on, she reminded me of Mrs. Overall in Acorn Antiques. You know. But she was lovely. I mean, she, you know, she did that for years. Now, I don't know what happened to her, and I often do wonder. But then maybe there was a period of time where it didn't come, and when I came back, they still had the intermission in the middle of the film, but now they have a concession. And I can remember telling some friends about this, about they had the intermission. And they said, no, rubbish, of course they don't. So, well, okay, come and see. And sure enough, they did. And it doesn't really matter where it stops somehow. And why do I not mind that? Because I'm a great cineast, you know, but I just don't, because I think it's something about the charm of this place that can happen, and it carries on, and it carries on in exactly the same way. And then, of course, there was the really bad time when it closed, and we were very, very upset about that. Now, I didn't actively do anything to help. I think I was probably very busy with my work life, but my sister did. She was in the Woolton Society, and the Woolton Society, I think, worked very hard to, you know, to get this place going again. But still, I mean, you know, sitting here now in this, in the cinema, just does bring back memories. Apart from the fact that I lived in Woolton, I was born in Woolton and then moved away. And coming back, you just do remember times when you've been to the cinema. But it particularly reminds me of coming here with friends and my sisters. And one of my sisters in particular, she belonged to the Woolton Society, and she was very keen, obviously, on, you know, protecting things in Woolton and so on. But anyway, we used to come to the cinema, and she was a smoker, and I think I told you earlier that on the one hand you'd have on the left-hand side smoking, and the other side no smoking. Of course, I always sat with my sister, but sadly she died about 4 years ago, and I'm sure that she would have been really, really pleased to know that the cinema was actually saved, because it closed for a little while, and we were all very sad about that. So inevitably when I come here, I think of those times. She used to talk all the way through a film, and I'd be kind of, you know, shut up. But I'd give anything now to have her doing that. And that's a very poignant memory, I think, of this place. She lived locally as well, and so we would come, not absolutely regularly, but it was one way of meeting up that we could get together, not lose touch and so on. I take my various nephews and nieces and so on to these great multiplex cinemas, and you know, they buy all their popcorn and all this stuff and so on, but when I bring them here, they just love it. It's so quaint, they think. They don't seem to mind. I mean, they can get their popcorn and so on, but and it's so sort of comfortable. Angela, we would go to she'd take us to the cinema, and I wasn't used to this because, well, I came from a very big family and we couldn't always afford to, you know, to go to the cinema for treats. So I just remember that. But I would also have been to other films, which were the Saturday morning children's matinees. But I can't really remember that. But I'm assured that we did.
No doubt people talk about that. They say, well, she hardly knew the man. Isn't she a cranky old maid? It is true, I have not married. I never had time to fool with it. I heard nothing more of the Texas officer Levif. If he is yet alive, I would be pleased to hear from him. I judge he would be in his 70s